Hey everybody, Stippling Vaughn, and it is Saturday Stippling. This is my weekly show that I do where I ramble on about a certain subject while I'm stippling. I'm currently working on a fan submission piece for Rainey and her Fiendish campaign. We can see we got the big monster there with its tentacles. She's joking about tentacles. So even though this creature just has the tentacles coming out of its mouth, I added a bunch of tentacles wrapping out. Whether it's coming from this creature or from a different creature, it's just lots of tentacles. They're dangerous. So last week I did a video and I talked about Nick Arcata, showing my support for him with him getting kicked off of YouTube and then getting his channel reinstated. A lot of drama from it, and as I said in that stream, Nick was joking how, like, hey, I would be insulted if people were not simping or grifting off of what happened to him. So I did that. And there's been more drama because of this. This time, apparently, there is drama between Nick Arcata and I think I don't know her specific name because I don't watch her a whole lot. It's a blonde girl. Her show is Legal Bites. And apparently there's drama and remarks she made or facial remarks that she presented when people were talking about it and all. For me, it comes down to, guys, where you are at your best is not when you are doing your own shows and causing all this drama. It is when you guys are streaming court cases. As I understand it, where the impression I get is that where really, when this all started was Nick started doing, he was streaming and commenting on how the lawyers were presenting their case in the Derek Chevron trial. We all now know that he is the one who killed George Floyd. Where doing this type of streaming became really popular, or really made a splash, I would say, is with the Rittenhouse trial. I knew about Nick before this all started because of who he associates with. When I say who he associates with, he is friends with Cecil and Anna, that Star Wars girl, and they go to the cosplay convention, and he was along with them, and he did a panel along with Anna, that Star Wars girl, Yellow Flash, and Cecil. And I was very impressed with how Nick is basically a geek and a dweeb like the rest of us. The difference is he has a much more lucrative career than all of us prior to YouTube. But yeah, when he did the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, it really made a big splash. A lot of different law people, different lawyers on YouTube took notice and were joining in on his streaming when he was doing the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. That's where we all discovered how the prosecutor, Binger, was a dirty, no-good snake in the grass who is basically trying to do everything he can to manipulate the facts instead of simply presenting instead of presenting the facts. He was severely manipulating everything. It was really great insight to how defense lawyers and prosecuting lawyers are how to present themselves and present their case. I was really intrigued by it. Where I really got into it was how many different lawyers were hopping in on Nick's stream and commenting along with him. And Nick was grateful for it. He even thanked a lot of people, like, hey, thanks a lot for joining in on the trial with me. If you hadn't, I just would have been crying into my glass like a lush while this was going on. And it really became interesting. He did other court cases out after that where a lot of people were jumping in. And I, as a viewer, was really enjoying how you have to understand, as an artist, you have to put your work out to be critiqued. So essentially, these Lawtubers, which, as Joe Logic has phrased it, Lawtube is a genre. And I think he was accurate, because originally Lawtube was kind of classified as a group of people, kind of like how Comicsgate was. But really what Joe, I thought he was correct in that Lawtube has become a genre of YouTubing and presenting the law to us and critiquing it in actual how it's being applied in cases. And with us being able to see it live in action, we can get a better idea of good preparation, bad preparation, good presentation, bad presentation. And they would go after both sides. They would critique both sides. Like you dumb son of a bitch, why aren't you objecting to this? And then finding out later that there's someone in the courthouse tweeting out that the reason why they were not objecting was because the jury had noped out. The jury wasn't paying any attention, and the last thing you want to do at that particular point in time is to object and make them become more alert and aware of what was happening. So it really helped out also with understanding the strategies of lawyers. Because remember, the thing about when these cases is you don't see the jury. The jury's kept off camera, so you don't see them. So you are, in some ways, you're at a disadvantage that you don't know what the jury is doing, what they're thinking, how they're reacting. And with the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, you had a lot of people who were like reaching out and finding out that people were in the courthouse or in the courtroom and were like during breaks or leaving during the case to tweet out how the jury was reacting. Now, where this really became really big and became part of the entertainment was when everybody was doing the Amber Heard Johnny Depp case. There was lawyers they were going to the courthouse every single day, and were then reporting to Legal Bites and Nick Rekieta how the jury was reacting to this testimony and that testimony. And again, it really, as the viewer, you really got a better sense of how and why lawyers, their strategy for handling a case. Now, the big thing about the Amber Heard case was because so many people were streaming. It's like, hey, if Nick can do it and he's getting all the super chats, why can't I do it? And I jumped. Sometimes I watched her on Nick's channel, sometimes I watched her on Legal Bites channel. It all depends on how the commentary was. There are certain days that where in Legal Bites almost nobody was commenting during the testimony, and for me I was like, okay, this is kind of boring. I could watch this more in a different channel without the commentary. So I'd switch and jump over to Nick's channel where they're doing commentary, where they're talking over the person who's giving the testimony. because that's what I want. That's what. And then, of course, everybody. That's when the drama started happening, because some people were getting more views than others. As they were presenting it on their streams, they're presenting it in such a way as if they're supportive of each other and like, oh, I have no jealousy whatsoever. Well, towards the end of the trial, during one of Nick's late evening streams, he starts at midnight Eastern time, even though it's 11 o'clock Central time for him, and he flat out said, hey, you're going to have a lot of people that are going to be hurt, because guess what? After the trial, your sub count's going to drop. Your viewership's going to drop. Why? Because you aren't providing the content they want, and people are going to move on. Well, all this drama, I think, in my opinion, kind of started when there was an issue with that DUI guy, who was one of the lawyers who was going every single day to get into the courthouse to give a first-hand testimony, a reporting of what was happening. And I guess he said something in such a way that it was interpreted differently from Legal Bite show. They were like, nope, you're not allowed on my show. I forget what it was actually, because we're like, I didn't care. And now we're back again where we have drama. And now we have it because there's so many different YouTubers who, in this genre of Lawtube, are starting to take sides over the whole Nick being banned. Some people are like, well, maybe YouTube has a point. Well, honestly, for me, I don't care. I don't care what this drama is between you guys. Okay? I am, when I go into your stream, I'm looking to see, are you doing a court case? Are you critiquing how these lawyers are handling the case? This bickering between yourselves, I don't care. Okay? I am there to watch you guys critique different court cases. Okay? And the example I'll give you is this week, we've got Daryl Brooks. He is the one who last year, it was right around the wrap-up of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, or during it. It was during the Christmas parade. He took his red Ford Escape and he drove it through the parade goers. Killed, I think it was like 5 people, injured a lot. Children, young children were hurt. The dancing old ladies, 5 of them, I believe, were killed. I believe that's where mainly the deaths came from, was the dancing old ladies. But I was watching this, and started with Nick's stream, and I ended up watching on 5 different streams this week. Started on Nick's stream on Rumble, then he wasn't. So I was looking around. Legal Vices was streaming it. Nick hopped on. Then Legal Vices wasn't streaming it. So I ended up watching it at the end of the week on Aussie, Overlog, and Potentially Criminal. And that's what I want, okay? I want you guys focused on doing these court cases. This is where your guys shine. It's when you guys are critiquing how the court case is going. Now, granted, this case with Daryl Brooks is a complete, utter shit show. But you know what makes it worth it? Is we saw it a little bit in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, where Binger crossed the line, the judge would be like, okay, jury, please leave the room. Please let the jury leave the room. I'm going to rip Binger a new asshole. This time, it is Daryl Brooks who is pushing the boundaries. Why? because the dumb motherfucker fired his legal team. And so, almost twice a day, the judge has to excuse the jury, rip his ass a new one, and I'm surprised at how professional this judge is being. And I understand how the judge has got to cover themselves to make certain that his rights are being respected as much as possible, or completely protected, so that way he does not have a leg to stand on when he tries, because he's going to appeal it, and he's going to lose his appeal. Why? Because the judge is showing him so much respect, more respect than he deserves. I'm being deadly honest. I mean, I'm amazed this judge has put up with all the shit he has done. So, my message to all you Lawtubers out there, and I'm going to tag a lot of you guys on it, and kind of in the hopes that you guys do watch this. And the reason why I want you guys to watch this is I could send you guys a super chat, but really you can only send so much information, and it costs a lot of money to send a large super chat explaining this. But really it comes down to, I'm giving you a critique of what I like when I'm watching you guys. And where you guys shine is when you guys are doing the court cases. And my last piece of information is the legal mindset. First and foremost, thank you, Legal Mindset, for your veracity in campaigning for Nick when he got his channel strike, and doing everything that you did to try to get it reinstated, calling YouTube out and calling them a bunch of cucks. And one piece of information for you, Legal Mindset, is put something in your background, hang something on the wall, something. That blank wall's driving me freaking nuts. I mean, the one time you're doing your one show and you joke, hey, I like to smash, you know, type that up. I like to smash, or maybe I like to, and then smash underneath of it. Enlarge it as much as you can, print it off on landscape, and tape it to the wall behind you. So it says, I like to smash. And that way, it's like you're making it clear to everybody, hey, I'm an adult male, and I enjoy the pleasures of smashing. And hey, you're also, psychologically, you're asking people, without having to say anything, to smash that like button. So, Legal Mindset, if you do see this, I hope you enjoy the image that I'm working on. But yeah, put something in your background. Yeah, hit that, smash that like button, because he likes to smash. So, you guys all have a great day. I'm going to get back to this. And always remember, life is stressful, and that's why I take it all one dot at a time.